Hi guys! So welcome back to the fourth and final episode of the Scania dump truck build. So in this episode we will finish the truck and we will take it outside and give it a test run. As you can probably see, I've added a few new vinyl decals on the truck. And also I designed and 3D printed some new taillights for it. And I've installed the red lights on the roof. So there isn't much left on the truck build actually. So right now I'm 3D printing some reduction covers to hide these nuts. I said it again. So here's what I'm going to use for sound. Now this is an ESS Sense 1 Plus, and this is something you can just hook onto your computer and choose which sound you want. Now it is very limited for diesel trucks and most of the sounds sound like vacuum cleaners, but this is an easy way to and cheap way to have sound in your trucks. So what I'm actually going to do here, I think I'm going to create a floor on top of these wires, and that way I can put this sound unit right here. Now by putting it here, it will be in the middle of the seats. A shout out to the local high school teacher who gave me all these steel plates. These are already being cut by students, and this is what they were going to throw away. So he came by and gave me a bunch of these, which is awesome. Remember, when using steel and putting wires against it, it will rub through the isolation on the wires. It might take a year or maybe 2 years before it rubs through, but it will happen. So I put tape on the edges to prevent that from happening. So now we have a simple floor inside of the truck, and we can now put our battery and sound module. So here I am programming in the engine sounds and all the other stuff on the ESS Sense. You can change the sounds. Here's all the sounds for the motors. Most of these are just for cars like drifters and on-road. There's even some sounds for crawlers, ships, trucks. So there's a lot of sounds to choose from, but sadly most of them are pretty bad, to be honest. So I'm just going to experiment a little. You can choose between two settings. You can run one setting at a time, but you have two to choose from. And right now I'm setting up my second setting, which is just something I'm going to test. It's a crawler sound. And of course we need to change the horn sound. I'm using my own horn sounds. You can change the horn sounds according to whatever you want. The engine sounds, however, you can't make yourself, so that kind of sucks. Now I'm going with the reverse beep sounds that I made, because I'm mixing my reverse into the horn. That way I have a reversing signal on my trucks. The dump trucks don't really need a horn. So this is the engine sound component. So idle delay, that's how long before the engine shuts down. Rev limiter is going off. We don't need that on our truck. Engine response, I'm setting that down to 0.7 because I want it to have a more smooth RPM range. Shifting off. Shifting is when you put your foot on the gas, then the ESS Sense 1 will simulate shifting. And on a slow truck like this, it just looks and sounds wrong. So brake, we're not gonna use brakes, and turbo, we're not gonna use turbo. Now this is the custom, this is the horn category. I'm turning it down to around 80. There we go. And save settings. Now I'm not gonna go into more detail about this. All of this is explained in the manual that you receive when buying ESS Sense 1. So what we're going to need to do first is calibrate the ESS Sense 1 sound unit onto the transmitter. By that I mean that I have to calibrate when I use full gas or not, so that the ESS Sense can sense where I have the stick. I hope you understand my explanation. It's kind of hard for me to explain all this. Anyway, we turn the remote on, right? And then we need a battery. You hook the battery on, and then this will make a sound. Now, in order to calibrate this, I need to press and hold the plus button on the ESS Sense 1. Now it's in calibration mode, and the first thing you want to calibrate is the neutral setting. Now it's already in neutral because it's in the middle. Press that one. You press the plus button one time, and now you can calibrate the maximum throttle. However, before doing that, lift the wheels off the ground. And now it wants reverse. And there we go, it's calibrated. Now, when I press forward on the stick, the engine will start. You see? Okay, I need to shut it off. Alright, so now I'm going to mix the reverse signal, you know, the beeping sound I talked about. But first I have to calibrate. I put it in channel 5, and I'm just gonna use the key on the back here. You see? Now I want that to work when I press the throttle down. So I go to mix, and the master, that is going to be channel 3, because this is channel 3. So when I use channel 3, I want it to mix onto channel 5, because channel 5 is the reversing signal. Now this is where you gotta figure out how to adjust it. I think I've got it in my mind here. No, that's wrong. Alright, so it doesn't seem to... Hold on, I think I know what's wrong. Now this is the display over all the channels on the remote. So now when I press channel 3 down, you should also see channel 5 move, and I can see that channel 5 is all the way to the left while I want it to be on the right. See what happens when I press the button on the rear. This will flip on the right side. See? So the sound plays when it's on the right side in this matter. So what happens when I press down? You see? Now, in order to get channel 5 to move over to the right side when I'm pressing down on the stick, we have an option called offset. You see, offset. When I press this one, and if I give this a positive 100, that should move the line to the middle. Yeah, you see, channel 5 is now in the middle. So when I press down now, the sound will play. Now I'm going to move it, the offset, a little more, because right now it plays the sound just as I touch it. So let's put it down to 90. You know what? A little less. 85. There we go. So now that everything is calibrated and hooked up, I can install the floor. It's fair to be proud about it. I've quit ordering from all those fast food chains. I'm feeling better, there's no doubt about it. And my days are brighter. Right. So much lighter. So let's start the engine. You know what? I want the engine to make more sounds, so I'm going to adjust the volume. Now to do that, you just press the plus button. Alright. Now, you remember when I said that you have two settings to choose from? I'm going to show you how to switch between them. I just gotta hook up the battery again. Alright, so now the truck is on. Now I need to figure out something about this wire. So, to choose between the settings, you press and hold the minus button. It will beep once on the first setting, and it will beep twice on the second setting. So now it's in setting 2. Let's listen to how it sounds. Now this is the crawler motor that I mentioned. It sounds like an old boat. Okay, I'm going to change it back. So these are the production units that I will put on the wheels to hide the nuts. So what I do is I use this glue, this glue that I always use on everything, and I just put it on these edges, and then I put this into place. I've made a hex inside there that will fit on top of the nut, so...
The truth is a damn hard pill to swallow. I'm reaching out, but all I feel is hollow. I wanna make you work, but all I do is make you worse. The truth is a damn hard pill to swallow.
It looks so much better with those on. That worked out pretty good. Now, if you're ever going to put something like this on, don't use a super glue or something that will stick really hard. This is a gel glue, you see, it says gel glue. That means that it's sort of like jelly, or it's super easy to take off afterwards. So I recommend using something like a gel glue, or maybe even a little amount of silicone if you have that. Should be easy to take off. Alright, so before I take it outside for testing, I have to do something about the lights up here. You see how they shine upwards? So I'm printing a cover to put in here. So here's the cover. It's not the biggest thing in the world, but hopefully it will dampen down the lights. So. It's not perfect, but it's a lot better, so I'll leave it as it is. So everything is ready. Now let's take this truck outside and give it a little test run. So there it is. The truck is fully functional and it's doing its job. The tipper function was more than strong enough to lift a huge load inside the tipper box, which is great. And the truck also handled very well in the rough terrain, so I couldn't be happier with it. And also the excavator that you saw in this video, it's one of my creations. It's made in the same way as my Volvo 550, except this is a lot older. I think this is over 2 years old now, but it's still doing the job. It's super strong. Anyway, I guess this concludes the Scania dump truck build videos. So I'm planning on building a dump trailer for it. I might put up some videos of that. And I was planning on putting the files for the tipper trailer on Cults, as well as all the details and fenders and all the stuff that I printed for this Scania. I'm planning on putting them up on Cults as well. So if you want, you can also build a dump truck like this. Oh, and for those wondering why I suddenly have white and blue colors, well, that's because I have this company logo on all my dump trucks. There's my Volvo. It's got the logo. This has my logo. This one. And that one. Anyway guys, I'll be ending this video here, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.